Oh, I was just trying to call you in.
Don't answer.
Bumping that floor.
Well, it's fine once you get past there.
All right, we are back again in general session. Okay, next on the agenda is decision to hire or interview for an accounting manager. What say the commission?
I'd say after the three of you, I would like to offer the job to Debbie Kelly as county manager. She's doing a lot of stuff for us. I think she'd be very good. Her degree is in accounting. So, therefore,
All right, we have a second?
I'll go along with it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to hire Debbie Kelly as the Broadwater County Accounting Manager. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right. Next on the agenda, we have the community development position, wage and position decision. Come on forward. Nicole?
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So I did not bring you any further information. I just merged all of this info. I brought simply the job description that I provided you with last week. I just removed the highlighted areas. So the only thing that we still have on there is the salary.
And I'm here on that.
You're here on behalf of the planning board.
No, actually, as a member of the planning board, but I'm in here,
My goodness.
I'm gonna read every word too. This is what precipitated me coming in, the newspaper article. And then I went through till 1999, the paperwork. And I heard one person who I had a lot of respect for ask somebody else, can you believe Nicole's asking for a raise? And I was absolutely flabbergasted. We had asked, as a planning board, a raise for Nicole a long time ago, and it was turned down because if you did it, all the county employees had to get a raise also. So she didn't get a raise. So it's been on the agenda since '05. I'm Jenny Shelber. I'm here as a private citizen first, planning board member second, business owner third, taxpayer fourth. Maybe I should have put that first. Also, because I heard what the other people were saying. I have been on the planning board since day one in 1999. The planning board has done the Broadwater County regs, comprehensive plan, fees for subdivisions, reviewed many subdivisions, did research and recommendations for the county commissioners. I have worked with all planners, seen the county go from few subdivisions to many with mega dollar fees, back to a few small subdivisions, which is the present. Seen different contracts with Broadwater County planners and their job descriptions, which I have here from 1999 to WWC. As a citizen taxpayer, I don't want to go back to spending lots of monies for services, someone who doesn't even live in our community, and we have the qualified person right here. Examples, Damshin, 1999, they came over, McGowan did, one day every week for 3 hours. We paid the planner $72 an hour, McGowan $50 an hour to come, and a secretary who typed up any information to give to the surveyors, $30. 2001, we had a contract until 2004 with Melissa. She worked 4 days a week. And then we had Julie Mether. She was a sanitarian and a planner from 2004 to 2005. And then, I promise not to have all this stuff out. Not to scare you too bad, okay?
I am impressed. You've done your homework.
I was impressed as well when she told me what she was doing.
I said, I didn't want to, overstep my bounds. This one here, in 2005, 2006, I have their contract. and other contracts from WWC. Sean received $110 an hour. Amber, the secretary, received $46 an hour. Now, when you did a submittal to the planner, looks it over and then tells them what's its deficit in, and then the subdivider has to fill in what they didn't do and bring it up, and then the planner brings it to the planning board. Well, on these, I have the invoices even. And when Sean would look at it at $110 an hour, Jake, who was at that time not a registered surveyor, he is it now, and Amber all looked at the same plat, and we didn't know why. So in 2005, the planning board sent a letter to the county commissioners. This is when we got turned down for the raise for her, and it said WWC's monies are more than triple what we would be paying Nicole. And all of these I have here are literally what Nicole has there, what we as a planning board, her duties would be and the monies that it would save. And then regarding these changes, and then pink, yellow, that we have in our minutes, some of these things are really gonna shock y'all. It was brought up that the planning department had paid over $301,000 from 2006 to 2010 to WWC Engineering. That comes out to roughly $60,000 per year. At 40 hours a week, that's over $28 an hour for a full-time planner for 5 years. The board also discussed the fact that the last county planner employed at Broadwater County was at $20 an hour. Nicole never got $20 an hour, and I also have more statements from WWC. Thank you for being patient with me here. The planners in different counties, Gallatin, Lewis, and Clark, differ much from Broadwater, Jefferson, and Marr. I have examples of all of their different pay rate salaries, which these are current, and these are people, they're asking for planners. This planner starts out at $83,311. This planner in Billings is $125,605. You can get these right off the internet. That's where I just got these. Anyway, I have a whole bunch. Great Falls, $123,000 plus. Butte, $95,845,000. And we are asking $25 an hour for Nicole with no secretary. All the others had secretaries. Nicole gets no secretary. I have Nicole's budget here from this year, 2013, in green, how little money she asked for it, and it's out there for everybody to see. Maybe before I started that salary, I should explain that the planning board has not received money from Broadwater County. We have paid our own way of fees from subdivisions, even the $300,000 to WWC. The citizens of this county deserve to have a planner in-house. The convenience and service Nicole provides. Her duties are to meet with clients, much time explaining the rules and how to fill out the paperwork, the regulations, and helping them through every step of the way. She goes to planning board meetings, she does minutes. She researches into the state and other counties and all of the Montana for us to do our Broadwater County regs and our comprehensive plan, which keeps us from having to do it. She goes to commissioners with the final plats. Nicole wants to work 32 to 40 hours a week as needed, instead of paying her for the whole 40 hours. If we're not busy, we don't pay. In summary, in my opinion, Nicole's salary should be increased to $25 an hour in an attempt to get somewhere near a commensurate salary with other Montana County planners. Thank you all for your time and consideration. And this is what that dear girl has to go through, and remember, when a client comes in, these are the rules and regulations she has to help them with. And their new state regs, and all these other are regs that she has to be aware of and familiar with to help a client out. And so that's my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny.
And all of this is here, if anybody wants to look at any of this paperwork, it's all government paperwork. I don't know what I'd do without stickies. Thank
Any
you.
questions for Jenny before she goes?
I don't believe so.
Well, I thought it was talking at 20, you said 25.
I did say 25, and the reason being, after I seen what the other counties were getting, and if you wanna do 20, but I personally think she's more than worth 25. But that's up to you all, but I'm just presenting all of her duties and what the other counties have charge or offer people for, the same job, same position.
Hey, Jenny, I don't know if this was prompted by the same thing as you were prompted by, but a citizen gave me this newspaper. I don't know if you've seen it, Vigilante,
No.
Marie from Helena. The article in it, talks about, the fact that, in Lewis and Clark County, we've got pending a number of, lawsuits against the subdivisions. And, the amount of money that the county has paid to fight those subdivision lawsuits so far, and he said, I scanned it, costing taxpayers $2.3 million. We had one lawsuit against Broadwater County that we won. So I think that's quite a comment towards our planning, that, you know, you can pay $2.3 million in lawsuits, or you can have good people that know what they're doing and save that amount of money. So that's another piece of this puzzle that needs to be kept in mind.
And the thing that amazed me was that our budget has been totally financed through subdivision fees. We have not gone to the county for money. And so, that was just, when I got figuring all of this stuff in here, that's where I came up with the 25, frankly.
What is your current salary?
$15.38 hourly.
See, at 20, that's a $5 an hour raise. I don't know how we could possibly give somebody a $10 an hour raise in the county.
Well, Julie and Melissa started at 20. She's working at still her secretary's wages from when she was their secretary years ago. We're just not giving her any raises. It's been, first it was an oversight, and then the second part was where we came in, they said, no, we can't give her a raise unless we give every county employee a raise. And it's a different situation now. And,
That was because of the Me Too clause.
yes,
In the sheriff's
exactly.
contract.
And I do have to say, we're still not talking a raise.
Correct.
Because of the Me Too clause, the only thing we can talk about is a market adjustment. Well, that's where
And her new
what you just brought
position.
in, and
Yes.
her new position.
Yes,
You bet.
exactly.
Yeah,
And, you know, this is similar to what we talked about 2 weeks ago, I believe it was. We're giving you a proposal to start out at $20 an hour, give me a 6-month probationary period with this new position. Even though these are duties I've been completing already, I feel it's only fair that I have that probationary period for you to decide if you want to keep me in this position or not. At the end of that 6-month probationary period, I'd like the 50 cents. Again, if I were able to attain my APA certification, that would be another $1.50 and still not be at that 25, but at a place I would feel competitive.
I didn't know you had asked for 20. I didn't know you had asked for anything.
Any, yes.
Should have got together with it.
I just appreciate you advocating.
That's where you got the 20 from. I'm sorry, Franklin, I did not know that had already been
I
put
mean,
out.
it's a pretty hard sell. I mean, to the,
I'll stump right in there
Well-
for it.
one thing I think that, that needs to be taken into account is when you compare Broadwater County to Lewis and Clark and Billings, those are different monsters than we are, because they're so much bigger.
Right.
And an argument has been made, and certainly can be made, that in smaller counties, not a secretary, a planner is doing all the jobs that even Jefferson County, that's not that much bigger than us, has a 5-person planning department.
Exactly.
We have 1.
And there's Marr County, and so that's where I put us, when I did them, I put us in the category with Jefferson and Marr, even though I looked at Gallatin and Lewis and Clark.
Yeah,
And there were other counties out east, which is totally a little bit different than us here.
absolutely. We got a list here of different counties, and when I look at the ones that are most like us, Blaine, Shoto, Granite, Madison, Powell, Sweetgrass, and average those and what they pay their planners, the average is $26.84 an hour. So, I think your request is right in there. One of the realities that we have to look at is all our professionals are underpaid when you look at comparing to other counties, even those just like us. And so we need to slowly start correcting that, but to do it for one person all of a sudden is gonna be, like Franklin said, a hard sell.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that we don't address this and we bury our heads in the sand, because that's been done for too long, and these things need to be addressed and corrected. So I think the only question for the commission now is, how are we going to address this? 2 years ago, we should have looked at a market adjustment when we promoted you from secretary to planner and pulled $110 an hour contractor into an in-house position. We did a $1 per hour, and that was just due to lack of experience. And, I still will say publicly and proudly that when you do promote somebody, should be okay to give a raise, even if it is just for $1 an hour, and the union should not be able to grieve that. Secretary to planner is certainly a different job description. It's a no-brainer. But anyway, so we didn't do that right 2 years ago. So now we're having to address that, and that's one of the realities.
Well, I appreciate, and like you said, it's nobody's fault. It's a learning experience, the planning board too. I mean, all of us are in this, and it's not anybody's fault. It just is something, just like them just coming up and asking for more money for the jail. It's the same difference. It's not anybody did anything wrong. We're just trying to correct something we're finding out about now.
Well, and I think that that's partly why too, that $4.62 per hour increase that I'm requesting, it does seem significant. However, I do strongly feel that that should have been done 2 years ago. I should have advocated more for myself at that time. I should have requested more money. But I knew that we needed an in-house planner to save the county money, and it seemed like that was the only option at that time, so I said yes without even, discussing that with the commission. So, and, I should have done it then, and I think that $4.62 wouldn't seem so significant right now, because it wouldn't be that much of a change.
Yeah, we'd be looking at just a couple dollars instead. Nicole, can you answer one question for me? And this is kind of just on the spur. You don't have a secretary right now.
No,
So
I
when you're not in-house, your door's closed and there's nobody here.
Correct.
What are some of the things that take you out of the office?
Well, right now, I'm 32 hours, which, as I talked with Jenny, and I've talked with this board too, I would be willing to do 40 hours a week if the work was there. I would like to have some flexibility, simply because there might be weeks that 40 hours a week is not required of me, and I would hate to be taking that money, be taking that wage if not necessary. I'd like to stay at 32 minimum to keep my insurance, but I would like to have some flexibility so that there's no comp time coming into play, to just say, hey, if this is a busy week, I'll be in the office for 40 hours. Some of the things that take me out of the office, well, right now the biggest one is this joint land use study. I'm gone pretty frequently to meetings for the joint land use study. I've gone to several conferences. I have children who play sports, so there is some personal time that I take off of the office, doctor's appointments, sporting events, things of that nature. But for the most part, I feel like I'm in the office pretty regularly. But those are the things that I'm out for. Trainings, conferences, different meetings. I was at a training last week, and then next week I'll be at a joint land use study meeting again. And, so there are just some things that just require this position to not always be in the office. Not all of it is done behind a desk, which I think is good, because it is, especially this community development, I really think it's important to participate in these things and not just sit at my desk and work, so. And there's also field work with GIS that needs to be done, so.
And of course, we have other employees, weed, sanitation, that work much of their day outside of the office as well.
With no secretary as well that's in the office, in their place when they're out of the office. I've put my phone number on the door. I don't have a county cell phone, to where folks do need to get a hold of me. I suppose they can't. They can leave a message on my office phone, but that's it, if they have a question when I'm out of the office. But, I know that that's what the other two do, weed and sanitary, and they just use their county cell phone as backup communication.
I'm not so sure she doesn't need a county cell phone.
Yeah, it might be one of those things we need to address. One of the things that we have a need for, and I'm wondering about that additional hours, the 32 to 40 grant writer. There's different grants that we've been in need of throughout the years. Is that something, I know you've done the trainings, is that something you'd be willing to pick up if we were willing to come up in your wage to help offset that increase in your wage?
I would definitely be willing to give it a try. Yeah, that is something that I've been interested in. The last grant writing class I went to, I was pregnant, so 5 years ago. So I definitely need to beef up on that and really start training myself more and looking into those things more too. So, but I would certainly be willing to attempt it. I wouldn't say no.
That could be a nice avenue to save the county taxpayers money and offset the increase and help justify it as well.
Can I see your sheet? That has-
This one?
Yes, please.
And I apologize for not bringing all of this up again. I didn't want to bombard you with paper after I'd given it to you before, so.
No, I had it all in my car.
I can certainly go down and get anything that you need. I just overload you with information.
Did you want to see that? Surrounding counties?
Oh, I've seen
Lots
it
of
before,
counties.
yeah.
And if you guys want to table this until next week, if you want to throw out some ideas, some suggestions, some thoughts at this time, that's either way is good. This is the last agenda item of the day.
That's what I'd say. Like I say, it's a pretty big chunk. Let's just not have every department head in here each week, so they want $5 an hour raise. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't deserve a raise, but I think we could consider the amount quite a bit. I know you feel the other way, and well, we're representing a lot of people, and like I say, is each department head gonna be in here, one more? I mean, it's something to think about. I think it's a good idea to table it for a while. Everything, well, maybe you do $40 an hour. But,
Excuse me?
I said maybe she's worth $40 an hour, like some of the counties have. But how can you make a jump like that?
I think we need to stay on target. We're not talking 40. So I think that
Well,
needs to stay
I
out of
just
place
threw
so it
that out
doesn't,
there.
get
I just threw
circulated.
that out there.
I think some of the things that we need to make sure that we remember are the facts of the last year. We've been spending a lot of time finding ways to save money And as that's been done in departments, the department heads have come forward and said, with this money I've saved, I'd like to use it towards a market adjustment for myself and my staff. Solid waste saved about $90,000 and funneled a little bit of that into coming up to parity with other counties, especially the CDLs and what's happening in the Bakken. You don't want to find yourself without any CDL drivers, as you can well imagine. We had different maintenance came forward. In his first 6 months on the job, he saved us over $36,000 just by tweaking some of the heating systems. He then came forward and said, hey, I want to take some of that savings and I'd like to change my job description and I want a little bit more per hour and an employee. That was granted. We're still in the plus in both departments, solid waste and maintenance. Weed came forward and targeted savings and then said, I want to take some of that savings and I want a little bit more money. We're still in the plus, that he's still saving more than he's costing us with this raise. It seems to me that what you're requesting is along the same lines, albeit a couple years later. You've targeted a savings for this county per hour of, quick math, $80 an hour. When you look at the total, $60 grand a year for contract. So we need to take this into serious consideration. If we look at the fact that the other department heads have already come forward, well, then you're just another department head coming forward. Debbie right now is working on a request of the sheriff for $4.30 more per hour. That's why I don't know how that department can afford that. But it's certainly something we have to take into account with what her arguments are. So to just dismiss your request out of fear, I think is pretty small-minded on our part. I think we need to look at what these other department heads are making. I think we need to look at, your performance as a professional for this county, the amount of money you saved and earned for this county, the advocacy of your board. We have a letter that was written by her, Argabright, in support of this. We need to look at those facts, and we need to come up with a responsible answer to Nicole, and we need to do it fairly quickly. I'm going to suggest that we table this, that we do some thinking about it, and that we come back with some suggestions and conversation next week so that we can be responsible to our employee and to the citizens of this county.
Well, and I like the idea of her going 6 months trial period. Give her 50 cents an hour raise and see how it works. 50 cents. And, which would, on top of your raise. And then, once you've got your credentials, that can go up even more.
Well, and I think that that's only fair to you as a commission and your responsibility to the people of Broadwater County. I don't expect you just to say, okay, well, we're gonna give you this much and hope that you get your certification so that you can end where you wanna be. No, that's not fair, and I don't think that's responsible of me, and I
Nor
shouldn't be
us.
asking for that, nor you. And so that's why I'm sort of hoping for those steps. Long-term goal, if you will. I'd like to start out, obviously, at a higher rate of pay now, but then after 6 months, if you're happy with my performance, give me that 50 cents. If you're not, the offer's no longer on the table. If I don't get my certification, I don't get that increase. If I get my certification, I feel like I have the ability to come forward and request, a higher rate of pay because of that, because it will only benefit the county in the long run.
How long do you think it'll take to get that certification?
It takes about a year from everything I've read. It starts in July. It's when the open enrollment period is, and it takes about a year. So, it's a long-term goal. It's definitely not a short-term goal.
Can you do it online or?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, a lot of online and, just, basic reading of materials and take your tests online, so.
Modern world.
Right, isn't it amazing?
I'm fine with them tabling it for a week.
Okay. And then at that time, we'll have hopefully a serious discussion and put something on the table. All right. And I would imagine there may be some questions by the commission for you this week.
Sure,
All right.
I'll be available.
And maybe you too, Jenny, and other planning board members.
Okay,
All right.
thank you all very much.
Thank you very much.
And thanks,
We
Jen.
appreciate it, thank you.
She's a firecracker.
She is a
was very nice
firecracker.
to The next day,
You
she's.
know, Make it get in trouble, just
I'm
like
gonna stick Jenny on it.
Jenny, thank you.
Thank you all very much.
That's it, you want backstage.
All right, any other topics from the commissioners? Anything else for the good of the order?
Yeah, I have one thing.
Okay,
I just going through the phone here. Gary's done it forever. He doesn't have a county cell phone. He just puts down a $20 use of his personal cell phone every month. And I've done the same thing. I've been away with my county cell phone. Then just putting the 20 a month, and it saves the county $20 a month. Besides, they don't have to have any, because they have nothing to do with the phone. It's strictly mine. But I'm turned down all the time.
are you asking why? Franklin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly the same thing. Here, see, here's Gary's. And I've talked to him, he's been doing this for a long time, this isn't anything new. Let's see, where's mine at? Same thing, I just put on a cell phone, my number, $20, and I just send this thing from Verizon.
Okay, there is a paper trail of this, emails, so if anybody wants verification, it's out there. Franklin, you're a commissioner, not a justice of the peace. As a commissioner, you have a higher requirement for transparency than any other elected official. Elaine and I both use our county phones, and every single call we make is on record here in the courthouse. You need to do the same thing. You turned in half of your bill, not the full thing. You need to turn in pages 3
If I
and
turned in
4.
each claim, each
Franklin?
call, I have a pile of calls.
You,
And another thing, my calls, I get messages on my phone. And unless it's something I gotta answer back right away, when I get home, I use my landline and call people. I'm calling people all the time from my home phone on county business.
you're being asked to be held to no higher standard than the rest of the commissioners. You
Why?
need to turn in your full bill, all pages.
Where's
You
your
did
full
not-
bill? I never seen it come in here.
And I'll show it to you the next time it comes in. It comes in every month. You are not turned in pages 3 and 4. That's all you need to
I
do.
don't get it.
Yes, you
And the
do.
phone bills that have been coming in are
Franklin?
the same thing.
Franklin, your bill says pages 1 and 2 of 4. You need to turn in 3 and 4 of 4.
This is what comes, what I
No,
just turned in.
Franklin, be honest.
The other is there's 2 pages, is duplication exactly like this one right here.
You are
That's
being
what it
held
is.
to the same
I'm
standard
not
as the
gonna
rest
argue
of
with
the
that, just the way it
commissioners.
is, I know it.
Okay. Anything else? Franklin? Elaine? All right. I have one quick thing that I wanted to bring up. Next week, we have a conference call with Michelle Piggery. She did the HR training for us last week in Butte. So hopefully there'll be some questions for her. Last week, it was stated in this meeting that that Granite County, Deer Lodge County, and Powell County don't have HR. That is absolutely dishonest. It is not true.
That's what
The
the commissioner
fact-
from
The
Granite
fact
County
that you
told me
have
that.
been opposed to HR, Franklin, is a personal opinion, and that's fine. But as a professional, we are under a professional obligation and legal direction to offer HR to our citizens, to our employees. We have been discussing HR now for months. This is not a new discussion, and you still don't quite understand what it is we're discussing or the needs. I went to Powell County, Granite County, and Deer Lodge County, and I asked them, I emailed, we are still working on providing our employees with human resource services. We used to have an in-house HR manager and are now looking at possibly contracting HR services as needed. And then I asked Seal Poley, Commissioner of Powell County, are you still contracting with Jim Nyes? Yes, we are, $1,000 a month We have not made the use of him for training. Hopefully we can change that. But the peace of mind knowing that we can take care of issues that arise is worth the amount of money that the county is spending. Seal Poley, Commissioner of Powell County. Same question went to Granite County. The response came from Mike Cahoe, Administrative Assistant. Good morning, Commissioner Obert. I do the general HR for Granite County with consultation with Michelle Puggery. She also performs our background checks on prospective hires. I also consult with Mako attorney Mike Saystad for unusual or difficult situations. I hope this is of some help. Please call if I can offer more information. Regards, Mike. And then this morning, I didn't hear back to my email from Anaconda Deer Lodge. This morning I talked to the assistant of the chief executive, Connie Terms Daniels, on the phone. On the phone she said that Connie provides their HR services, and when she needs additional service, they do have a contract with Don Klepper from Missoula. I'm going to submit these to the minutes for the record, and you guys can each, I'm going to keep the color one, you guys can each have a copy. But these are the facts. This is the truth, and we need to stick to truth in everything we do.
The information I got was there at that meeting. It was out in the hallway, and I talked, and I don't know the commissioner's name from Granite County. I've talked to him a lot of times, but I can't remember his name. And that's what he told me. And it's like you're saying here, they're contracting it out. Different things, when something comes up, they contract it out.
And isn't that what we've been trying to do with an awful lot of pushback from you, Franklin? So, next week we will have a conference call with someone that hopefully can provide those contract services for us. Is there anything else for the good of the order? All right, well, the meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much.
That's a good idea, we have common year each time we come in.
I don't know off the top of my head. You guys know?
I couldn't hear the questions.
The rate to equate from benefit package that the county offers employees, convert that over to hourly, so that.
Franklin, would you hand me those claims?